This is Cory M. Coons, Trail of the Chosen One. Hang it up. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another fun, exciting, encouraging episode here on the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. I'm your host, Jody Sheffield. I'm so excited to be back with you for another episode and a brand new guest. And did you know the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast can be heard in several countries like Germany, Australia, Spain, and Canada, as well as several other countries. And today, we're going international. We're crossing the border and interviewing a musician up in Canada who has been in the business for over 30 years. It has been his passion since his early teen years as he's played guitar and sang in high school. He's been in a number of bands which toured in Canada and the U.S. and later formed his own band called the Coons. As a roots rock Americana blend, singer-songwriter has more than 280,000 plays on Spotify. That's insane. He continues to release album after album, song after song, and its influences are a collection of various genres from different rocks, and rock and roll, and Americana rock, and country rock. So I'm excited to pick his brain on who's encouraged him, who's inspired him during his career. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Cory M. Coons, here on the Chit Chat, encouraging one another podcast, and this is the song, Break the Fall.
There's a reason that things change, and through all of this we've learned, if we hide behind a face of lies, we might soon regret with passing time. Count the days we've shared the laughter as we cried a river after, but it just don't seem enough to break the fall, and we just can't find the strength to carry on. We have to shoulder to cry a little bolder when we just can't find the strength to carry on. If we hide behind a face of lies, we might soon regret with passing time. Oh, count the days we've shared the laughter as we cried a river after, but it just don't seem enough to break the fall, and we just can't find the strength to carry on. We can carry on. We can carry on. We can carry on. We can carry on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cory M. Coons here on the Chit Chat, encouraging one another podcast. It never fails. Sometimes we have little glitches in our conversation, so just want to apologize in advance for some glitches you'll hear throughout this podcast. This is Cory M. Coons. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Mr. Cory M. Coons. He's my first international superstar, a chance to talk with on the Chit and Chat, encouraging one another podcast. Thanks so much for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Jody. It's a pleasure. I'm excited to chat with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about you and who influenced you in your career. And I know you got some new songs coming out we'll discuss. But before we dive into some fun conversations, I like to throw some icebreaker questions at my guests, kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. And this little podcast is brought to you by Tequiza and Tequiza Street. They're a local taco shop here in the area, and they have 5 kinds of tacos. Do you guys get tacos up there in Canada?
Oh, yeah. My wife makes some great tacos here at home, so it's awesome.
Nice. First question. I live in Washington since 1990. I've never been to Canada. If I came to visit you, what are a few hot spots we're going to go see when we go up to visit you up north?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that at the moment because we've been having a lot of difficulties in Canada for the last 2.5 to 3 years, as you probably.
Yep.
Hot spots in Canada. Well, if you're talking about wintertime, there's not many hot spots. But if you're talking about actually like just, hot places to go as far as the people and everything, it's some of the bigger cities like Montreal, like very sort of a hotbed of like, different nationalities and cultures and stuff. Toronto, which is the capital of Ontario. I would say last year at this time, Ottawa would have been a very cool place to go because of the Freedom Convoy. So that would be recommended last year. But as of right now, you're looking at a lot of changes. So,
and where do you live?
I live south of Ottawa, actually. We're about 45 minutes south. We're kind of close to New York State. We're bordering sort of like right on Ogdensburg, New York. So we're about 20 minutes there from the bridge to Ogdensburg, New York. And yeah.
How would you describe yourself using 5 words?
Self?
Yes, sir.
Passionate, honest, truthful. I guess that's the same as honest. Musical. I guess family man. Stuff like that. That's 4. What's one more? Sometimes entertaining, hopefully.
I've enjoyed listening to your songs, and I've listened to some older songs this afternoon that you've done over the past. So you have a plethora of different songs, and we'll discuss some of those today. So I'm excited to talk more about that. Number 3, if you could wake up with a brand new skill tomorrow, what skill or talent?
Brand new skill. Well, if we're talking about music, I kind of dabble at the keyboard and piano. I always have, but I've never really been more versed in piano. So if I could play piano, if I could be an amazing keyboard or piano player, that would be very cool.
Okay.
Because I'm only like kind of like dabble on it and here and there.
What's your main instrument? You play guitar mainly?
Yeah, guitar. I started as a bass player, so I play guitar and bass. I play a bit of mandolin and some harmonica, obviously, and some songs, and a little bit of drums too.
I've always been versed to the mandolin. I always liked that instrument. I was a big Bruce Hornsby fan. I loved kind of what his style was back in the day. So show my age a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
What's one thing that always makes you laugh, no matter what type of mood you're in?
I would say if my daughter's around and it's always a very happy time, that makes me laugh a lot, in a good way. Obviously family stuff and politicians make me laugh instantaneously.
Amen. I got you there. We're on the same page there for sure.
Either laugh or want to like freak out, I guess. It's kind of on the verge of that too. So
roll your, like my wife does, rolls her eyes at me. That's the way I am with politicians most of the time. All right, last question is: you and your family get to go on a 2-week vacation anywhere in the world, but it's the first letter of your first name for the first week, and the first letter of your wife's name for the second week. Where are you guys going on the vacation?
Well, funny enough, we were just chatting about this before I came on with you with my wife, and she's like, "Oh," she says, "so you're going to send me someplace not warm, and you get to go where it's warm because the places I picked." Her name starts with L for Leanne, so I said for her, States was maybe Louisiana, which is warm, hopefully, right?
Okay.
And I said, London, England, you would probably enjoy it there, but I don't know how warm it is. So she was like, okay. Anyway, so for me, it was Colorado. I've never been.
Oh.
And obviously the Cayman Islands or something like that would be, I guess, a warm spot. That's somewhere over near the UK, isn't it, or something? Yeah.
Yeah. My brother's actually in Denver, close to Denver, actually. So I've been to Colorado a few times myself, actually.
Awesome. I've never been, so.
For my listeners out there who might not know who you are, would you mind sharing a brief bio about who Cory M. Coons is?
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter and professional musician. I started as a bass player, like I mentioned, back in the, I guess it would be early 90s. So I'm kind of dating myself back here. When I played bass in high school days and some bands with friends of mine and stuff, and did some like, Christmas assemblies and different things like that at my high school. After I left high school, I joined a band out of the Ottawa area. It was a high energy cover band. We did a lot of like, melodic rock and classic rock stuff from the 80s and stuff back in the day. And so we took off in Northern Ontario here for about 2.5 months back in, I guess it was 92. Yeah. Late 92 in the fall. So we did a couple, 2.5 months of touring around Ontario. And after that, kind of spent some time with other people in the Cornwall, Ontario area, which is where most of the guys in that band were from, and got to know a lot of guys and musicians there. And then joined a band that went back to the States, actually, in the Southeast. It was a band called Us, or US, whichever way you want to sort of say it. And we did the same sort of style of music, but they played a lot of like really interesting venues with, frat houses and some really cool clubs and places like Spring Break on Panama City Beach, all those kind of crazy days back in like 1998. So I did that for as a bass player and a backup harmony singer and stuff too. And then after that, it's kind of when I started diving into really getting my own stuff together. Like I had recorded some songs before I joined that band. It was like a demo sort of thing, kind of springboard me into that band with those guys. But then after I left, about a year after that I left the band, I was really like recording my own music. So my first sort of original album came out in very late 1999. It was my classic rock band I formed called Coons. And we did a lot of, like I said, 70s, 80s influence stuff too. It was an original album, but the band sort of into a cover act along the way, because as you know, playing original material, unless you're getting the big push or you're signed with a record label, it's hard to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So did that for a few years, and we became like an Ontario region as a sort of a classic rock cover band and some country rock stuff a little bit thrown in there, and then a few original songs too. Before my first self-titled, I guess using my own name as a solo album, and it was called From the Ground Up. So that was kind of like country rock, sort of, roots rock feel, and a little bit of folky rock sort of in there, I guess. And did that album in 2004, and then just kept working away from then right through. And I've done some more albums. I think I've got 5 official. I think there's 5 full-length albums, maybe, and counting my compilations, there's 3 EPs I've released from then right up to currently.
Okay. I'm curious to know, how did you get started in the music career? Was it just something you heard? I mean, your family play instruments? How did you really get into the playing instruments and stuff?
Well, back when I was a kid, my mom had one of those Magnus air organs, those old things.
I know of organs, those small ones, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like one of those. I think that's where I kind of started. And then I had like I said, I was a bass player. I started in the 7th, about 13, and I got my first bass. My dad was always he liked to sing just around the house. He liked the big band stuff, like the Dean Martin and the, Frank Sinatra sort of very cool crooner stuff, back in the day. He'd sing that around the house. And my mom always had the country stations on the local radio here. So I grew up listening to all kinds of country music, like, Johnny Cash, Kenny Rogers, and all that stuff. The real true country from back in the day,
Yep.
So that's where I and then of course the Beach Boys. I was all of my mom's albums. I had like first song I basically really hit home with from the Beach Boys was like Fun. I still have the 45 single of hers actually that I've kept here. So that's
for the younger generation listening, 45 single was a record. We had records a long time ago.
45 is a record, exactly. So that's kind of where I started early on. And influences as I started getting into high school, I was influenced by a lot of like, melodic rock and hair band stuff from LA and stuff. I grew up through high school listening to a lot of that, like your Poisons and your, Bon Jovis and Motley Crues and all that kind of thing. And then just kept evolving, and I influenced by so much stuff over the years, from like, country rock, like Keith Urban and stuff like that, to there's probably bits and pieces of folk rock in there, and a lot of like, Tom Petty and John Mellencamp sort of style of stuff over the years. And yeah, so it's kind of a whole melting pot, I call the CMC sound, I guess. So
in your younger years, what type of encouragement did you get from your family? Just I'm sure positive, and just kind of just give you tips and advice, I would assume, right?
Oh yeah, my mom and dad were always very supportive of everything I did, and God rest both their souls. They're passed on now, but yeah, they were always very, very supportive in everything I did, and they always, of course, paid for my first bass guitar probably back in the day, if I recall correctly. Don't know how much money I had back then, so. But yeah, and then just always they were always there, always. They were big inspiration for me and made me who I am today, obviously. So.
Where did you very first perform at? You just school or
very first performance with a band?
Yes,
you mean?
Yeah.
That would have been high school. Like I said, we did some what they called Christmas assemblies at Christmas time.
What was that like? You're getting on stage for the first time. A little goosebumps?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like, the young girls at the time in the audience, and then the songs end. It was like you're at a concert. So it was pretty cool stuff, obviously, when you're young and impressionable, like 17 years old and stuff. I think I remember playing, what was it? We did 3 songs with some friends of mine in a band, and 3 songs were Down Boys from Warrant, I think was one of them. Look What the Cat Dragged In from Poison, and then we did a Rolling Stones song, Jumpin' Jack Flash. So I remember 3 cool songs we did back in the day. So
you've written 5 albums or so. Songs for albums. You get a particular theme or just the personal experiences. You add those songs together and create an album. How does that work when you're creating an album for for yourself?
There's a lot of personal experiences. I think in the last probably 10 years at least or more, 10 to 15 years, it's a lot more personal experience as you get older and things change. Family life and all sorts of things come into play, and so for me it's a combination of that and spiritual stuff that kind of comes into play too. I think if you tell a good story, I always state, if you tell a good story and it resonates with somebody and they can remember where they were when they heard your song for the first time or whatever it was that they were doing, I think you're creating something that's very memorable that way.
Right.
So it's a combination. I don't have one sort of cookie cutter way to sit down and write a song. I think I really like to let the let the music or the song guide me from now on. I don't try to force it, to go a certain direction or something.
When you first begin writing a song, do you get a chorus first, just kind of add the lyrics together? How does that work when you come up with a song?
Sometimes there's just a very basic melody in my head that a chorus might come to surface, and I'll work some chords around that. Other times I just start. Like I record all my now just on my cell phone. So if there's one good thing I find about having the addiction to a phone anymore is being able to record stuff onto it. So, so I save all my ideas on there and I'll go back and kind of revisit them. And sometimes it might be an idea from a few years back and then I'll go say, oh, hey, when did I come up with that? Or that's kind of cool. And then I just did that recently. Actually, I've got a really cool song in the works right now. It's sort of a very Americana sort of feeling song. So I went back and found sort of the beginning progression of a chord pattern I had and started working some verses around it. So sometimes it comes out, sometimes it comes that way. Sometimes it just all kind of flows right away within an hour or two. And then other times it's just bits and pieces here and there, and I go back and revisit it.
I love acoustic sets. When you're playing either acoustic or a band, what do you prefer more? Do you either or for you? But which style do you like best?
I think they both have their advantages and benefits. Is very sort of what's the word I'm looking for here? Atmospheric, I guess. Like if you're in that sort of like very personal atmosphere with people, you can be up close and personal. Acoustic, and people really can tend to listen to the music too. And that's really what you try to do as a songwriter, so they can actually listen and hear and understand, the vocals and the lyrics and what message you're trying to portray, right? So that's very cool in that element. But then playing with the band and the guys, I mean, you get the whole factor, right? The whole it factor's there. You get up in front of like a really cool crowd that's into it the whole night, and it's it's a really good atmosphere. It's rocking, it's loud, and everybody's enjoying it too. So I don't know if I have a favorite over. I love doing it with the band, but we don't seem to have as much of that lately as we have, prior to the last 3 years. But yeah.
All your bandmates here locally, or are they kind of all scattered?
Well, semi-locally, like kind of in the Ottawa South area and then Cornwall area, like I said, which is all along the St. Lawrence. River there on New York State, bordering New York State. So, but yeah, kind of, I've known the guys on and off for many years. Like my good friend Mark Muir, who plays lead guitar with songs with together when I was mentioning back in 1992 there. We were on the road for those 2.5 months together. That's how we kind of got to know each other. So we've had a long-standing musical relationship. And then my drummer Kevin, I went to high school with him. So we went to the same school, and we didn't actually play together in high school, but we started later on after. And he's been, throughout the years doing different things with me, recording and playing live. And I just kind of recently got back with our bass player, Frank, who we used to play with in Coons, the other band from years ago. And he's kind of back in the fold now. We sort of rebranded everything. It's when we're out playing live with the band, it's Cory M, Coons, and the Dirt Road Gypsies. So that's kind of
cool.
The whole, yeah.
How'd you go with that name?
Well, I was kind of thinking of names, and I had a cool flow to it, and it sounded cool. And I live in the country, obviously, so dirt roads are kind of cool, and then the gypsy lifestyle of the rock and roll musicians always kind of a factor there too. So
okay, yeah. This is my third season doing this podcast, and I go back and listen to some of the episodes. I'm like, oh, that didn't sound very good. Or working on my editing skills. Is that similar to your music? Do you go back and listen to some older songs and kind of tweak those, or how do you feel more confident now than you did 5, 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, I think you get more confident as you go along. A couple songs that like I released maybe 10 years ago or something that came out a little way I kind of first envisioned. So I re-recorded, like there's a song called Would You Stay that was on my 2018 Long Road Home album, that was the one that we redid, and Mark helped out with that song quite a bit too. At the end, he kind of sort of added a little piece at the end there, sort of an outro section, which was really, really cool for the way it turned out a lot more the way I envisioned the song, a little more electric sounding and flowing than the original way I did it back in 2012 on another album. So there's only a couple though that I kind of do that with. Most of the songs I kind of like to I leave them alone, and I say, well, that's kind of where I was at that time in my life. That's where the songs were. That's where my mind and my whole maybe attitude about everything was. And so I think the more new songs that come along and the more new that come along, that's kind of where I follow things now. So
one song that came across shared hope, strength, unity, truth, and love in your song Freedom Road. Can you share a little about that, as well as your video? That video was so cool to watch that video, and share more about that, please.
Yeah, well, that video, first there was a lyric video that I did for the song, because the song was released in, I think it was October of 21. It came out as a single. So we did a really cool lyric video for it, which is my buddy Gary from near Toronto, Ontario here. He did a really cool lyric video with it, which was awesome in its own right, and I really liked it. It came across very well. The message was perfect. And then as the whole sort of Freedom Convoy thing hit here up in Ottawa in, I guess, late January, early February of last year, I had so many people like sort of messaging me and telling me like, your song Freedom Road, like that's such a great, such a great message for what the convoy is standing for and everything right now. So the way you can kind of get that involved with, what's going on. So I got thinking about it. And then of course my family, we went to the convoy a couple times in February. So I got a lot of footage, as you saw in the video, some of my family and a lot of things that were going on, and all the very amazing things that happened with the convoy, not all the negativity you heard on the lying mainstream media up here in Canada, at least. So it was a very positive experience, and I wanted to sort of showcase that, and also showcase like, a lot of the things that have been going on and things that falsehoods. And so, yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those videos it hit home, I think, for a lot of people. You enjoyed it, and the message is there. I mean, we all need, to stand for freedom, right? So,
yep. I love the end of the video. It says, "Faith is not knowing what the future holds, but knowing who holds the future."
Exactly.
Very powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, that was sort of my intention, was to leave a very, very powerful message at the end, and it's all in the big guy's hands, as we know, right? So.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't quite get that.
No. I think people believe in different things of what that might be, and that's great. I mean, if whatever your higher power is, that's what it is to you. I think there's a higher power. I believe in God and Jesus. So, I mean, that's what it is to me. And
sure.
Yeah, spiritually, you know.
Yep. And reading your bio, you've been nominated for several awards over the past. And when you're nominated, and when you win awards, what does that really mean to you? Is that is that just like you picture yourself going, did I win this? Did I get nominated for this?
Well, it's always a really good feeling to be sort of known for what you do among your peers, right? Starting back in 2014, when I got the chance to go to Los Angeles and I got to experience the whole Los Angeles Music Awards, that was the first time I'd ever kind of been at anything like that, right? So I mean, just being around people from all over the world and North America and all these like independent musicians, and then for me being in LA, you know, as I mentioned before, growing up listening to all that stuff from the Sunset Strip, you know, and being at the like surreal. It was a very surreal moment for me being on the stage there. I got to perform for the actual nomination night in 2014 for the Los Angeles Music Awards. So stuff like that will always stick out and be a great memory for me. It's, you know, amazing feeling. And then of course with the Josie Music Awards in 2019, I got to go to Tennessee and bring my whole family. We got to go to Dollywood, which is just in Pigeon, you know, 3 hours from Nashville. And so I mean, going there was just awesome to take my family to and be there and part of all that and meeting all the really cool people I've kept in touch with over the years that are singer-songwriters and performers and writers and everything.
Does it help that knowing that all the preparation of hours after hour after hour, you know, and you get an award for something you work so hard for? I bet you have to take a step back going, this is what I was meant to do.
Yeah. Number one thing, and I've always been passionate about music, so it's always just been there. It's just like a second nature, I guess. You know, I always say it's family and it's music, right? To me, that's the main things in life, and so I mean, those kind of go hand in hand. But I just love it.
I've had a chance to interview some musicians from the Music Mafia family. What's it like being in the community? Sorry,
pardon me.
What's it like being part of that community, of the Mafia family?
those guys are all great. I mean, you know, Cosmic Debris there from the show, from Music Mafia Radio, he's great. I always send him stuff, and he's always getting my songs played. And I've been fortunate to be on the countdowns for the past 3 or 4 years, and I think it was 3 number ones I had on there, which is really cool. Again, just being, you know, being around all the independent great musicians that are out there that should be getting more recognition all the time, right? But you know how mainstream radio is these days, and you know, formatted and sort of stuff like that. So there's so much talent out there. You just got to go look for it. Just dig a little bit, and you find all kinds of it. You know.
Yeah, I've had a chance to interview probably about half dozen, maybe 8 people from the Mafia family, and it's just really fun getting to know them. Raymond Hayden and Jessica Lynn Woody and Benji Phonic. It's just a few, and I love their styles and their stories. It's so cool hearing where they began and where they are now. So it's really cool.
Yeah, man, it's great, and I appreciate that. I appreciate being sort of in that circle, I guess, you know.
Can you share how folks can get a hold of you and follow your website and check out more of your music and what you're up to?
Yeah, for sure. So my official website is www.corymcoons.com. So you can go there. You've got all the links at the top on the main page. You can go out to Spotify, YouTube. I think there's an Apple iTunes link there. You can get physical copies if you go to the music section there. And I've got the new, like I said, the new compilations coming out, and it's going to be out on February 10th on MTS Records. It's called Across the Great Divide, and it's basically a compilation album of my music from 2022. So a lot of the singles and some album cuts that weren't released as singles. And now this new single, Trail of the Chosen One, actually was originally from 2018, but it was never released as a single. It was just an album track. So, so it was one of those sort of more rockin' tunes that kind of wanted to get out there, and just did the lyric video and got it up the past couple of days. So if you guys want to check that out, it's not about the website yet. I got to get the link up there, but it's on Facebook and it's on YouTube. So,
okay.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, I'm curious to know, were there times in your career where you felt that your music wasn't good enough? And if so, how did you kind of push yourself in the kind of the, you know, you get bad reviews and we get bad rap. You just kept going. How did you kind of manage that?
Yeah, I think there's always times when you look back and you say, oh, I could have did that better, or maybe that wasn't good enough and stuff. But again, I think it goes back to, for me, it's all about sort of like the honesty of doing it, and like this is where I was at the time. This is where my path was. This is where my mind was. So I think that you just sort of have to leave that alone, and then just continue on and keep forging your path, sort of thing. And so, I mean, I don't think I hate anything that I did in the past, but I mean, there's things that I kind of can say, oh, I could have did that better, maybe, or I could have, maybe in the promotion sometimes too. It's hard because you don't always have the money at the end of the day when the albums are done to do enough promotion on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
As an independent artist, you're not getting backed by like, $1 million record label or something, But, with that said, though, Michael Stover at MTS is amazing for promotion, MTS management and MTS Records. I mean, I love working with Michael. It's been, I think, over 5 years now we've been working together. So I love being part of the MTS family, and that's, he's been great.
It reminds me of a quote I saw. It says, your rearview mirror is smaller than your windshield because the past is, you see a little bit of glimpses of the past, but you don't live in the past. You see what's going forward. So I always think that's a positive quote to live by.
That's my sort of little mantra is surround yourself with the right people, the right team of players. If you surround yourself with people that believe in you, and you believe in them, then everything's going to work out.
I was wondering, any parting words of encouragement, someone out there, some of my listeners, maybe they're writing songs and maybe they just need some inspirational words you could pass on for someone today.
Stick true to what you believe in, right from your heart. Don't be fake, because people will see right through it. If you're just trying to, write a song to say, oh, I wrote a song and, blah, 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 and here it is. I mean, that can be cool. It could be a sort of bubbly, fun song or something, whatever. But I mean, if you strike that chord and you resonate with people, you stick true to your guns and write it from your heart. I think that's the best advice I can give to people that are, starting out writing songs, and tell a good story at the same time, try to relay that. I like to try messages. I like to leave with a positive message, because oftentimes there's going to be negativity, right? So,
yeah, I've talked to people before, and their dreams are kind of pushed around a little bit. Our dreams get bullied. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. I think that's really key too. Is ignoring the haters. You do what you think you're meant to do, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome, man.
Well, Cory, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks you for coming on today, and I'd love to share your music anytime. Anytime you have new stuff coming out, I just want to help promote you and your music, and just wish you and your family nothing but the best here in 2023. And thanks so much for being part of the podcast today.
Well, thank you, Joe. A great time. I love chatting with you here, and I appreciate it very, very much. And I hope you have a very healthy, safe, and happy 2023 as well. And keep up the great work. You did an awesome job here tonight, and I've listened to a couple of your other podcasts, and sounds great, buddy. So
appreciate it. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Are you craving some authentic, fresh Mexican food? I got 2 places for you. Are you ready? You got a pen and paper? 1, Tequila Street. It's a mobile food truck located in Silverdale, Washington at 9571 Silverdale Way. They have some of the best breakfast burritos I've ever eaten. My favorite is the barbecued pulled pork burrito. They have other Mexican items as well, but breakfast burritos are amazing. You can reach them at 360-914-9152. That's Tequila Street. Also, at the Chit Chat Mall in Silverdale, Washington, there's Tequila. There, they have over 5 kinds of tacos, burritos, chimichangas, and my favorite there, grilled jalapenos. Delicious. I know, I'm getting you hungry, right? Either Tequila Street or Tequila, and their number at the mall is 360-698-4335. Roberto and his staff are amazing. They're friendly, and their food is delicious. Come on by, check them out. That's Tequila Street at 9571 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, or Tequila at the Chit Chat Mall in Silverdale. 360-698-4335. 643-674-4335. I'm telling you, they got some of the best Mexican food in Kitsap County. It's locally owned and operated and very, very good. See you there. As Cory and I mentioned in this interview, Freedom Road was such a powerful song, and it brings so many emotions, love, hope, and courage. This is Freedom Road by Cory Coons.
Sometimes I just don't give a damn. Can't you see we're all just common kind of men? Freedom, it don't come without a cause. And all the simple things just wind up getting lost. Those forgotten days of innocence and youth, when we used to speak our hearts and hear God's truth. Let the good word rain, reap the seeds we sow. Call the breeze that sets your feet down Freedom Road. Freedom Road, on we go. Through the wind and rain we forge into the storm. Freedom Road, you own my gypsy soul. Like the wayward drifter makes his way back home. As the days go by, I seek the ways of truth. In the wake of unhinged minds and forlorn hopes, all the games that people play, we're standing tall. Even if it means that we must stand alone. Freedom Road, on we go. Through the wind and rain we forge into the storm. Freedom Road, you own my gypsy soul. Like the wayward drifter makes his way back home. Sometimes I just don't give a damn. When nothing seems to make no common kind of sense. 'Cause freedom, it don't come without a cause. May the good Lord give us strength when we get lost. Freedom Road, on we go.
love when musicians reach out to me and want to be on the podcast. And this is a song by Jennifer Alvarado. Can't wait to talk with her in an upcoming episode and hear about her. This is Rock This Way.
We were born to take it easy on a sweet slow ride, like a burned out jukebox still plays rock and roll. Your love soothes my soul. We're gonna rock this way to the beat, steady as a drum. We're gonna prove us right and prove them wrong. And we keep on keeping on, like your favorite song playing on the radio and singing out at the top of your lungs. We're gonna rock this way to love. Don't let the sound of your wheels when they're turning ever drive you crazy. You gotta keep on, never stop believing and holding me, baby. Walk this way while you give me a kiss. Can you handle this? We're gonna rock this way to the beat, steady as a drum. We're gonna prove us right and prove them wrong. And we keep on keeping on, like your favorite song playing on the radio and singing out at the top of your lungs. We're gonna rock this way to love. You don't have to cry no more. I'm coming home to you. And oh my, 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 I'm singing this song for you. We're gonna rock this way to the beat, steady as a drum. We're gonna prove us right and prove them wrong. And we keep on keeping on, like your favorite song playing on the radio and singing out at the top of your lungs. We're gonna rock this way. We're gonna rock this way to the beat, steady as a drum. We're gonna prove us right and prove them wrong. And we keep on keeping on, like your favorite song playing on the radio and singing out at the top of your lungs. We're gonna rock this way. We're gonna rock this way. We're gonna rock this way to love.
Are you craving some donuts? Not your run-of-the-mill, be on the shelf for who knows how long donuts. No, no, no. These are Lone Star donuts. They're big, huge, light, and fluffy. That's over 50 flavors. Lone Star Donuts. At 10876 Maury Place, Silverdale, Washington. You can give them a call too. 360-204-5021. Lone Star Donuts. The best in the West. Delicious as always. Oh yeah, over 50 flavors. Come on, check them out. Lone Star Donuts.
Did you know? Now you can find Lone Star Donuts at another new location. That's right. They have 2 locations now. This one is located at 2649 Mile Hill Drive in Port Orchard, Washington. Their number there is 360-443-2600. Lone Star Donuts. Always fresh, always delicious.
This is Robbie Hart, Find a Way.
If I could find a way into your mind. If I could find a way into your mind, would you let me in? If I could take you to a place where we could be. Free, just you and me. Tell me, where would it be? If I could find a way to your mind. If I could find a way into your mind, would you let me in? 'Cause I'll let you in, just let go and jump in. Just take my hand, I'll keep you safe, and together we'll find a way. Together we'll find a way. So put aside your fears, I'll be there to dry your tears, and we'll boldly go when no one will know, into the great unknown. Reach out your hand, right next to wherever we land. I'm asking you to trust me. Tell me, do you trust me? I'll be holding your hand. If I could find a way to your mind. If I could find a way into your mind, would you let me in? 'Cause I'll let you in, just let go and jump in. Just take my hand, I'll keep you safe, and together we'll find a way. Together we'll find a way. Sounds rushing by from a busy night sky. They don't matter all the stars in the skies, lighting up the light for you and I. If I could find a way into your mind. If I could find a way into your mind, would you let me in? 'Cause I'll let you in, just let go and jump in. Just take my hand, I'll keep you safe, and together we'll find a way. Together we'll find a way. If I could find a way into your mind, would you let me in?
This is Chit Chat, the encouraging one other podcast. What it's all about, encouraging others.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.